So in Gastonia, North Carolina, there's a 74-year-old veteran, and he just went through surgery, and his family cares a lot about him, of course. And they asked the cops to do something. They said, hey, when we're away, can you just check on him, make sure he's all right, because he just went through surgery. Cops say, no problem. Now, you know how America is these days. You know that this is already going to end in disaster, right? It's a terrible mistake to ask the cops to check in on a loved one. Now, how do cops check in America? They knock your door down, right? So in this case, it's quite literal. Now, why would they do that? Well, there's a reason for it, so let me explain. So let's go to Raw's story here. An officer visited Alan's home at 10:20 p.m. on Saturday, but there was no answer. Okay, I get it. Now, I get that that's why they start to escalate the situation, because they're worried that the guy's inside and their job is to check in on him to make sure he's all right, but there's no answer, so they're worried that he might not be all right. But did you notice what time they're doing this? 10:20 at night on a Saturday. Okay. So, number one, he's 74 years old. Number two, he's recovering from surgery, so he might be asleep. Second of all, he might also be scared that someone is knocking on his door at 10:20 at night on a Saturday. Pretty sure he's not used to that, okay? All right, so pick up the story here. Gastonia police then contacted the Gastonia Fire Department and Gaston Emergency Medical Services at 11:30 p.m., and a decision was made to enter the house, concerned that he may be inside in need of emergency assistance, Helton said. Okay? So, okay, that makes sense. That's Chief Robert Helton from the Gastonia Police. So they want to make sure he's all right. So far, okay, the timing is terrible. I mean, check in on him either earlier in the day or the next morning, etc. But okay, we're all right so far. Okay, then according to the chief, Gastonia police officer Josh Lefevers announced himself before coming through the back door of the home. But Alan was pointing a gun at the officers when they entered. Now, needs to be an important clarification here. They busted his door down, right? So the guy, he's recovering from surgery. He lives in North Carolina, so of course he owns a gun, right? And he doesn't know who these guys are. And at 11:30 p.m. at night, they bust his door open and they come in. And a guy points a gun at him, as almost any citizen of North Carolina would, right? I mean, we live in America. Now, I don't think they should. I don't think that's the right approach. Maybe the guy should have listened closer to who was actually knocking and realized that it was the police. And in that case, they were theoretically there to help him, right? But maybe he's hard of hearing, maybe a lot of things. Knocking his door down, very questionable. Okay, but at this point, he's drawn a gun. Okay, so let's go to the end of the story. He was challenged to lower the gun down, Helton insisted. The gun was pointed in the direction of the officers, and a shot was fired that fatally wounded him. They killed the guy. What did you do? What did you do? And this is not the first time we've covered a story where the family calls in. There's been other cases where there are kids sometimes that have mental issues they got to sort out, but they're act up and their parents call for help. Boom, terrible mistake, cops shoot the kid, right? We've seen that before. In this case, family calls for help for a 74-year-old, just checking on him, make sure he's all right. They bust his door down. All right, he pulls the gun out. Now, a lot of you might be saying, come on, man, he had a gun out. What were the cops supposed to do? Well, I have an answer. Retreat. Remember, you were there to help him, not to shoot him. Don't you think that it's somewhat normal in North Carolina that if you bust somebody's house down, or a door down, and you enter their house in the middle of the night, that they might pull a weapon to defend themselves? I mean, Second Amendment, all that stuff, right? I mean, you think in North Carolina, people would think that that was very normal. So then your natural human reaction should be, oh, wait, I came to make sure this guy was all right. He obviously misunderstood the situation. Let me pull back. Let me pull back and then maybe use, some sort of device, a megaphone, whatever, to say, hey, Mr. Allen, we were here to help you. We just wanted to make sure you're okay. If you're okay, it's fine. We'll replace the door in the morning. Just tell us you're okay. That's all. No. For police in America these days, they're a hammer and everything is a nail. So, James Howard Allen, the answer is violence. We forgot the question. We forgot why we broke your door down. So you pull a gun, we don't hesitate. We're cops in America. Bang, 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 they put him down. And now he's dead. Gee, I wonder why the community, whichever community it is, doesn't quite trust the cops anymore. Because sometimes this is what happens when you call the cops. Maybe we've got to change our way of thinking that we don't teach the cops. That's the real problem. I'm not blaming it on any individual officer. The culture we've created for police in America is shoot first, ask questions later. If there is even one scintilla of a possibility that you would ever get hurt under any circumstances, shoot, 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 shoot. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Under any circumstance, even if it's a 74-year-old, even if you know that you're going in to check in on his health, even if you know that his family members asked to make sure that he was okay, even under those circumstances, he pulled a gun, that's it, boom, 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 and off he goes. Because they're all taught, shoot first, shoot first, shoot first. So now another American is dead. Welcome to our police state.